Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of what if the omnitrix redo. Now, of course, if you've seen my update video, you know I have to remake every single one because whenever I record a pre-recorded recording, the sound sounds there's like a something like high pitched to the recording. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm listening to the pre-recorded ones, and I'm changing stuff, and I'm not changing stuff. So I listened to the pre-recorded one, and I basically change some stuff, but I say the same thing. I keep the same aliens, but change the same thing. Anyway, it was forearms. Midoriya turns into forearms and throws them all about 500 meters. You know, being a Kachan, being Kachan, still wondering what's happening. As Midoriya is then walking home as he gets confronted by Ida, as they indulge in a little small talk, as Uraka comes out saying, "Hey guys, were you guys heading to the station?" As they say, Uraka calling Ida, Midoriya Deku, as Deku explains how Deku was not his real name, but a name that Kachan used to bully him. But as she says that she thinks Deku was actually a good name of a hero, as Midoriya switches it around real quick. Now, I'm pretty sure in this recording video, I covered the students versus students. I covered the USJ, and I covered the race part of the sports festival. So let's just do this, okay? Anyway, now, the next day or week, all the students are sitting in class as All Might walks in, saying, "I'm coming through the door like a hero," as he explains that they'll be doing Hero 101, as he presses a button and some capsules from the door start to open. Now, and it's the hero costumes as they have to change and go outside to meet at Training Ground Beta. Now, I guess this is something I should change. I'm changing his hero costume. Deku's hero costume is cargo pants, so he can keep some medicine inside. And he has an All Might shirt. So, it's like a baggy All Might shirt. Okay. It's like all my colors, if that makes sense. Anyway, as they explain which teams will be on, with Midoriya and Ochako versus Bakugo and Ida. I don't like saying Deku when I'm saying my what ifs. I used to say Deku all the time, but now I just like to say Midoriya. Not Izuku. Anyway, now, as Midoriya is wondering which transformation he should transform into, as basically they walk into the building and Midoriya gets met by an explosion, which affects him. I'm trying to say his costume doesn't get burned. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm wondering, should I? I'm gonna do it. Vilgax. Sorry. Anyway, as then Kachan goes for another explosion, leading off with a right hook with Midoriya grabbing it and doing a judo throw as he retorts to Uraka to go run and find the bomb as he runs away from Ida. From Kachan. As they're running, Midoriya opens up the omnitrix, trying to turn into Diamond Head because it's the most resilient form he has, and it would be the most effective against Bakugo's explosions. But instead of turning to Diamond Head, he turns into Ghost Freak. Not This is the ROM. This is the same time where Bakugo looks off his giant explosion. Again, not being prepared for turning into Ghost Freak. Accidentally, he still gets hit with the explosion, which does hurt a little. Now, he can feel some of the stuff that his aliens feel. Okay, he can feel 1/4 of the pain that his aliens feel, if that makes sense. I, I don't want to make, I don't like that. Where, like, Ben, he could be dropped off the tallest building, stabbed, shot at, and then when he detransformed, it's like everything was okay. I just don't like that. You gotta make it a little fair. They did implement that in Alien Force though a little. Yeah, only like the first 5 episodes a little. Anyway, let's continue. As basically Kachan goes for another explosion, but this one goes through. Kachan keeps exploding, Deku wondering what's happening. As Deku punches Bakugo right in the nose, with Bakugo jumping up, making a smoke screen in front of him. Deku not, unexpecting this, gets hit by the blast to the back. As Kachan goes for an attack, as his attack goes through. As Midoriya says, that's enough, and goes to like tackle Bakugo, but instead of tackling Bakugo, he ends up possessing him. Now, I was planning to just make him possess him, but he never learned that in his training, because it's not like he would have gone out to just go possess people. Anyway, after about a few seconds, he notices that he's caught Sean or seeing out of his eyes as he tries to let off some small explosions and does as he gets as he decides to use it to his advantage as he walks up and he enters the door as he sees Uraraka there. As basically he throws an explosion as Uraraka, sending her back at the wall because Midoriya is not sexist. He fights girls and boys, equal terms, and equal rights, he doesn't discriminate. If you're a girl, he's not going to hold back. Anyway, he does that, giving off his impression as Bakugo, saying that Midoriya is hiding somewhere, but it's better if he defends the bomb, as Ida believes this as he turns around to be met with an explosion as Midoriya looks to go off Bakugo and touches the bomb, winning for the team. As he goes to Uraraka saying sorry he had to play the part. Uraraka understands. As on the monitor it says Team D. I think they were Team D. Team D has won the exercise. The hero team wins. As understanding, Bakugo kind of understanding what happens, asks Ida how they lost. As basically, Ida, a little aggravated, says, "You attacked me, and then we lost." And then uh, Bakugo realizing, that damn nerd, he took control of me. Goes for another explosion, but goes right through Midoriya. As I learned that Ghost Freak can turn people intangible too, because if you're a fan of the classic, which classic is my favorite cartoon. Yep, favorite cartoons. I mean, this has nothing to do with it, but sure. Know something about me. Number 1, Ben 10, classic. Number 2, Ninja Turtles 2012 edition. And number 3, Steven Universe. Not Steven Universe Future. It's not bad, but and yes, I like Steven Universe. It was good. You see, at the time it was just season 1, and at the time it became my favorite. It was just season 1, starting season 2 with Uncle Grandpa. This is when Uncle Grandpa was actually, when people were actually starting to when people were actually just starting to be like, this Uncle Grandpa show. Yep. Sorry. It was really good. They were fighting monsters. I love it to this day. You know, obviously, some people do think that show's for, like, LGBTQ plus people, but I don't think it is. I'm straight. I love the show. It's really good. Anyway, you guys didn't come here for that. Anyway, let's go on. He grabs Uraka, and they fly out the building, landing safely. Oh yeah, I was trying to tell you when it happened. During one of the parts where Grandpa Max, Gwen, and Ben were in space, and Ben used his new transformation, Ghost Freak grabbed Ben and brought him outside to the ship. Anyway, let's continue, shall we? Anyway, now, it's recording. As they go to the room where All Might tells Bakugo not to be mad. As they watch the rest of the matches with Bakugo feeling a sense of weakness. Now, Bakugo is about to walk out as Deku follows Midoriya follows Bakugo, saying, Kachan, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? As Kachan says, leave me alone, Deku. And he says, you won today, but you won't get another win. As he's crying. But as he says, you think you're better than me just because you hid your quirk. As Midoriya says, I wasn't hiding anything. I was just given an opportunity. As he looks down at his wrist, well, Bakugo slightly noticing this, but also noticing it at the same time. Now, 2 weeks later, they're on a bus going to the USJ. Now, obviously, there was something else. There was something else, though. Oh, sorry. They're on the bus to UA. As Asui asks more about Midoriya's quirk, as Midoriya put in a tight situation, answers that his quirk is this. This watch is his basically this watch is a support item for his quirk. Yeah, he says that this watch is a support item for his quirk, and he can't use his quirk without it, or else he'll be he'll look like a monster, or more monstrous, as he thinks about how his transformations normally look. As he says, even if I wanted to, I can't get it off of me. It's permanently stuck to my skin. As he says, wanna try? As Kirishima says, I'll take that challenge. And after a minute or two trying to pull it off, he says that's unmovable. You know. Anyway, they get to the USJ as Midoriya sees 13 and starts fanboying out again. As 13 and Mr. Aizawa go to a private disclosed location, and, well, not the disclosed location, but talks start to whisper about how Alma has used up his time limit. Midoriya wondering what they're talking about, as 13 quickly gets back on topic. As she explains how quirks can be deadly, and how quirks can be, like, good and useful. How she saved many people with her quirk, and she can kill millions with her quirk too. Anyway, as after she says that, one of the students asks what they will be doing there. As 13 explains how this is a, special place made to practice rescuing. As midway talking, there are portals open as villains, criminals and robots start popping out. as Midoriya. I don't remember if I ever sent. I forgot to send robots after him. Damn it. Anyway, too late. As there are robots and villains, as Mr. Aizawa goes to go take on the robots and villains, but there are only two robots. So there's a giant robot with the two mini robots. There are two of those big robots. As basically Mr. Aizawa goes and fights off the villains. As 13 is tasked with taking on the robots. As basically one of the robots starts to attack the kids. As they say that the USJ is being attacked, and they tell Ida that he needs to go run and get the teachers. Oh, I forgot. I forgot about that. For the thing, they voted Midoriya class rep, and for that whole fiasco in the hallway, Midoriya just turned into Ghost Freak and, you know, flew up there and told everybody what was happening. So he doesn't relinquish it, as he tells Midoriya, as they tell Ida to go, get the teachers. After some convincing, they do, with Kurogi trying to stop them, but the students working together to repair them. As basically after now, Aizawa fighting some villains. Now 13 has managed to destroy the big robot with her quirk, and Ayama shoots a naval laser at one of the robots, destroying it. Then Kachan destroying it entirely too. Mm. Mm. Sorry, Kachan and destroying it entirely too. As then Kurigiri decides to split up the students, as he splits them up and sends them to different locations. As Midoriya, he basically opens his eyes to see that he is in a pool or like a water thing. As he sees a villain coming towards him. As he's just about to activate his omnitrix, he sees Asui. As Asui kicks the villain and wraps her tongue around Midoriya and pulls him up to the boat with Moneta. As they land, wondering what happened. I don't remember who I turned into this one. I don't remember. Honestly, don't remember which alien I made him turn into. If I have to be honest, I have an idea now. I have an idea. Anyway, after some talking, the students come up with a plan. In the meanwhile, other there. Sorry. In the meanwhile, different students are fighting different villains. Now, the robot. Now, I'm pretty sure it was hearing them. Now, anyway, meanwhile, back at the camp, the students are helping out Mr. Aizawa since they have more reason to, as Cyril tapes up the villains that have been taken out. Then two of the scout robots shoot off from the giant robot, with Cyril wrapping one of them and Sato crushing one of them. As then, what was it called? Where was Ayama verse doing all this? To be honest, Ayama's not the traitor, if you're wondering, because because of what Ayama did. He shot Compress in the face. But I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking he was a traitor right here. Would come nope. Within another, within Bakugo exploding it with with Kirishima jumping right through it. Anyway, as at the boat again, they come up with an idea. As they come up with two ideas, and they need and Midoriya can't decide. As he asks Mineta and Asui which ones would be the best course of action, he has one idea where basically he would turn into Ripjaws and jump down there and take. He would turn into Ripjaws, and him and Asui would fight all the villains down there, while Mineta would use his balls to distract the villains. He would throw his balls at the villains, making them lose attention from Deku and Asui, and they would basically, fight the villains like that and tie up them all with Mineta's balls. Or the second one, Mineta would throw his balls while Asui gets Mineta to safety, and Midoriya would turn into Accelerate and run around the entire thing crazy fast, creating a whirlwind. But there's only one small problem: the boat. The boat might be a problem because they might get hurt, but then they speculate that they probably won't get hurt if Midoriya controls it. Now, I'm gonna eeny, meeny, miny, mo this. Okay? Let's say yes on this one, and I'll start upgrade. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Gotcha. Appleplexium by its toe. If you wanna let it go, my mom said to pick the very best one, and you are it. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo did. They decide to go with the fighting style. As Midoriya turns into. Oh, if you're wondering, he has a 10. He can beat aliens for 10 minutes and then has a 10-minute cooldown timer. If you're wondering. Maybe 10 minutes is too small. I want to enhance it to 15 minutes, but I've enhanced it to 15 minutes before. But to be honest, like Ben's cooldown timer was like 30 minutes though. So I'm going to enhance it to 15 minutes just because 10 minutes is too small. Anyway, let's continue. As he jumps in the pool with Asui as they start to fight the villains. Every time a villain is about to attack them, Mineta will throw a ball at them, distracting them, leaving one of them to knock them out. Now, after about 6 minutes of this strategy, they manage to knock out all the villains, or incapacitate them, or immobilize them. As Midoriya, knowing that he can only spend a limited amount of time on land, he decides to wrap up the villains correctly in Mineta's balls, having about 1 minute left as he jumps out the pool. Being okay. He de-transforms as they decide to go see what's happening at the main area. Now cut back as you see Mr. Aizawa fighting the rest of the villains with some of the other kids. The robot has been the robot has been destroyed, and the mini robots have been destroyed too. But Shigaraki comes and he decays the Zero's capture tape around some of the villains, letting them up as they fight the other villains. Now, with Mr. Aizawa trying to help as much as he can, and at the same time, it took them about 6 minutes, but Mineta, Asui, and Midoriya finally found their way to the main base as they see everything is being covered good, And then it's time for Mr. Aizawa to take on the big boss. As Mr. Aizawa goes to attack, Shigaraki, but Shigaraki catches his elbow with his arm as he starts to decay his shoulder. As Mr. Aizawa blocks his quirk jumping back as Shigaraki explains that he's finally, found out the secret to Mr. Aizawa's quirk. To Eraserhead's quirk. As he wants to go fight, but the Nomu shows up, ultimately beating Mr. Aizawa. And then Shigaraki sees the kids as he notices as he goes to go attack Asui, but is blocked while as seeing that Mr. Aizawa gets its head slammed in. Deku going to go throw a punch, but the Nomu stands in front. As the Nomu throws Deku across the ring, but Deku manages to catch his balance as Shigaraki manages to see the omnitrix, saying, "You're the one we have to look for. You're the one we have to get." As Deku's wondering what he means by that, looking at his omnitrix as still red, only a few minutes away. As then, they go for an attack, but Deku manages to dodge, punching the Nomu and throwing rocks, slamming rocks into its face and skull, as Shigaraki reveals that the Nomu was meant to take on All Might. After Midoriya, I've read some like mysteries, as he asks some questions to get Shigaraki monologuing. As then, after Shigaraki monologues long enough, he can finally transform. As he goes to transform into forearms to take on the Nomu. As he basically claps his hands at the Nomu and Shigaraki, sending Shigaraki back in a sound wave. Midoriya, knowing that wasn't going to take down the Nomu, he at least wanted to put Shigaraki out of commission for a while, as he goes up and starts punching the Nomu. He feels that his punches aren't doing anything, but he's just keeping the Nomu occupied until Ida gets back. Anyway, during the Nomu fight, Midoriya punches the Nomu a lot, but shock absorption with the Nomu, punching Midoriya, getting some good hits, but Midoriya being willpower. And halfway through the fight, the Nomu grabs Midoriya's hands to try to stop from attacking, as Midoriya just uppercuts him with both his hands. As then All Might arrives, trying to take on the Nomu, and punches the Nomu once, and Midoriya punches the Nomu in the head, and they keep this strategy until Midoriya de-transforms, with All Might telling Midoriya to go away. Now, thanks to this easier fight, thanks to young Midoriya, All Might is able to take down the Nomu quicker, and without use of his power as he does that. But as they see Shigaraki and they have the same encounter, and Snipe manages to shoot Shigaraki, as Shigaraki manages to get away using the cover of some of the other villains getting up again. Anyway, different people are taken to the hospital, as it's mainly just Miss Aizawa. All Might, not being hurt, has no problem as he goes checks on the students. The students get a 3-day off. 3 days later, after their days off are gone, as Mina wonders who's going to be the substitute teacher for class 1A, as Miss Aizawa walks through the door, saying that they are in charge of their own class. Now, sorry. No, as Mr. Aizawa explains, the sports festival and how many people are coming to see their class especially. a few after that happening, different classes come to class 1A to check them out because they heard about what happened to them. As the class asks, Shinzo tells the class what happens if they do bad in the sports festival, giving them extra incentive, as they have 2 weeks to train. For the first week, Midoriya trains his body really well, and for the second week, for the first week, Midoriya tries to train his body. If I didn't say it, Midoriya is the same buffness as he was at the end of the All American Dream Plan. At the end of the time, it's done the 10 months because he knew he had to fight without transformations. And then the second half, he works on his transformation specialty. Anyway, now. Sorry. After that, they're in the room now. They're in the waiting room. Sorry. They're in the waiting room as Todoroki goes up to Midoriya saying that he has more firepower than him. With waging war as Kaminari says the declarations of war starting. With then Midoriya saying, I'm not gonna try to understand what you mean by that, but I'm going to win too. Anyway, they go out as Bako has to deliver the speech. As he says, I just want you to know I'm gonna win. Which enrages some of the other students, especially the Class 1B students. Now let's go. They learn the first obstacle is a race. Now, question mark saying, what should we be looking for at this stage of the race? As Mr. Aizawa says, the door, as the door is crowded. But then they see a white, bluish color emerge as the door starts to get frozen. Some of the students are having a hard time getting out of this frozen door caused by Todoroki, as some students, like Bakugo, Kirishima, and Momo, easily get out. Anyway, now, Todoroki not expecting many people to get away from that, as Minetta's going crazy and catching up to Todoroki as he's about to grab on the Todoroki's back as he gets slapped by a zero-pointer robot, which has to hurt. Anyway, Todoroki takes down the robot. Midoriya wondering if he should transform now, but he's in the top 15, so that's good enough. And he decides not to transform yet because he doesn't know. Obviously, if it's a race, the aliens he has to go with have to be Accelerate and Stinkfly. But Midoriya retorts saying that if he goes Accelerate, not all obstacles, are handled with speed. Like, for example, the obstacle where you have to get through the rope. Like, I don't know how fast I know Accelerate's really fast, but I don't think he's fast enough to run on a tightrope and not lose his balance. So speed wouldn't help him there, and he'd end up having to wait to de-transform just to shimmy across the rope. And not all elements work with flying if he was to turn into Stinkfly, because those 3 zero-pointers would have easily pinpointed him out and started triple ganging him, and some of the obstacles could be inside. As Midoriya decides to go the rest of the way without transforming, without knowing what obstacles there are. Midoriya gets past the obstacles fairly easy by using one of the robot's part as a shield and as a blast, and as a blast thing, as like as like a shard. Anyway, he gets to the minefield part as he decides to throw the shield thing into the minefield, letting off some mines, understanding them more. As Midoriya turns into Heat Blast, hoping to run through the mines and absorb all the firepower. But he's met again that these are fake mines, not real mines. If these were real mines, he would be able to run through them, absorbing the heat and explosions. I mean, the heat. He can't really absorb explosions, but he can absorb the heat, absorbing the heat from them. But these are fake mines. As he remembers back to like a year ago when he read an article about meteors entering the atmosphere, how their direction is changed due to the heat. As he gets an idea, he pulls out a big chunk of the earth as he starts to send heat coursing through it and makes it look like he's surfing on a comet. He flies and flies and flies, and he flies over, Todoroki and Kacchan, who are fighting, as they stop joking around, and Todoroki creates an ice, way to get around it, and Bakugo going faster, but Midoriya, just being a little faster, gets through the gate, and the class 1A, and the winner of the sports festival race is Izuku Midoriya. As then Katsu Bakugo, Todoroki, go on and so forth. And as each person got the same thing. As Uraka says, that was cool, Midoriya. What was that? Anyway, with Midoriya explaining a little. Midoriya, Uraka saying, what was that? And he's like, what do you mean? What do you name that alien? Like, what do you name your aliens? As Midoriya says, I don't name my aliens. They're extensions of myself. As Uraka says, I'll name them for you. As Midoriya says, try your luck. Ash Uraka has already thought of these things. She names, she names Heat Blast Pyro Man, Diamond Head Crystal, Wild Fang, Stinkfly Stinkbug, Upgrade Techno Bubble, Ghost Freak Phantom, Ripjaws Aquaman, Accelerate, and Forearms Handyman. Anyway, let's go on. As they learn that we're doing cavalry battle and that there's a point system. I don't remember what I did before. Oh yeah, Midoriya thinking that no one's going to help him, and then sorry, a little young. Uraka offers to join Midoriya's party. As Midoriya thanks Uraka, and they go to ask Ida, but Ida decides to join Todoroki's party. After that, a girl comes up to Midoriya saying, team up with me first in her place, as she explains how she wants to use Midoriya's popularity to her advantage. As then they say they need to enlist one more, as they enlist Tokoyami. Now the plan is Tokoyami will be the rider with Midoriya in front, and what's it called? Uraka and what is it called? Hatsume in the back. As They go and people try to get the 1 million, try to get the 10 million, try to get the 10 million points, but they manage to evade using Hatsume's gear. Now, the longer they can do this, the better, as they keep avoiding over and over and over again. As they find themselves, after like 2/3 of the match, they find themselves cornered by Todoroki's group. As this is what Midoriya has been waiting for, as he branches off for a little to transform. Midoriya transforms into Diamond Head and basically tries to and covers their path with crystals. But uh but they managed to get around this. As as Midoriya keeps shooting crystals so that way they can't get close enough, Ida does something he's never shown to the class. As he does it, and Todoroki grabs the headband off of Tokoyami's head. As Midoriya offers to they have to rush to go get more points. As they run up to get points. And with Tokoyami trying to grab the 1 million points and grabbing 67 points, and Dark Shadow grabbing the 600 points. As the the winning teams were revealed with Team Tokoyami in last place. Now the matches go the same. For the Shinzo match, thanks to Ojiko's warning, Midoriya turned into Accelerate and quickly got him out the ring. Now, and got him out the ring. Now next, he has to fight Todoroki. For this match, Big Midoriya decides to hold off as long as he can, trying to influence Todoroki to use his full quirk to the fullest. After, as Midoriya just keeps dodging the ice attacks, as he starts screaming at Todoroki, about how he hasn't even scratched Midoriya yet, and that he doesn't have a scratch on him. As basically, after a punch to the stomach, Todoroki stops screwing around. Midoriya opens up the omnitrix and turns into Heat Blast as he freaking goes supernova and starts to melting all the ice that Todoroki's shooting off. As Todoroki shoots a giant fire attack, but Midoriya jumps into it. Thanks to him being Heat Blast, he's not affected by the fire, but having enough fire to punch uh, Todoroki out of bounds. Midoriya wins the match. For the next match, Midoriya versus Ida. Midoriya would like to just turn into... Midoriya would like to turn into Accelerate to overpower Ida with more speed than he can put off. Because Accelerate is faster than Ida, and Ida has that, engine engine cooldown thing. Anyway, on trying to turn into Accelerate, he turns into Upgrade. Techno Bubble. As basically, he manages to dodge some of Ida's attacks. Some of Ida's attacks do hit, but thanks to the type of body that Upgrade has, it's easy for him to just turn into like a puddle. As anyway, after a few minutes, uh, Midoriya's thinking of a plan, how he needs to beat him quickly before he de-transforms. As Ida starts running to Midoriya in a straight line. Now, Midoriya thinking hardly, I need to beat him. As a laser beam comes out of Midoriya's eyes, while he's techno bubble, and shoots Ida out of bounds. As Midoriya's wondering, uh, what's it called? Damn it, a laser vision. And now, let's just go on to the final fight. Midoriya versus Bakugo. Now, Midoriya tries his best to dodge, but after getting hit by two explosions, he decides that he can't dodge. As Midoriya opens his omnitrix and turns into Wild Fang, thinking that he has a plan. As Bakugo tries to attack Midoriya, but Midoriya's senses move him out the way. As Midoriya grabs Bakugo's hands and slams him on the ground, bites his leg and throws him. Throws him out of bounds, but Bakugo catches himself again, not being thrown out of bounds. As then Bakugo tries to explode Midoriya, hitting Midoriya, and then tries it again with Midoriya dodging, screaming at Bakugo, which disrupts his air a little, and punches Bakugo as Bakugo regains his posture. Well, after a few minutes of this back and forth, Bakugo gets up in the air to do an Howitzer impact. As he's doing Howitzer impacts, Midoriya slowly starts to dig. As then Midoriya digs to the bottom, and he goes inside the earth as Kachan's Howitzer impacts hits nothing. As then Midoriya jumps out of the ground from the crater that he dug as Wild Fang, grabs his leg, slams him against the ground, and throws him out of the rings. Now with Bakugo in rage, he has to be tied up. Now Izuku Midoriya is a first place winner. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I probably won't post for like a week, or at least I probably won't post this What If Deku Had the Omnitrix for like a week or two. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, even though I have to re-record everything, it is kind of fun. Okay, bye.